What is happening? Happy Tuesday. What's up, cuz?
What's happening?
Man, just rocking and rolling, coming off a nice long weekend.
It indeed was a long weekend.
It was a long weekend. I loved it. I think that was the first time in a long time, went like 36 hours, didn't do anything.
Right? That's
Nothing.
nice.
Nothing. Little binge. Started have you seen Schitt's Creek?
Dude, I have seen some of that. It's pretty damn funny.
It is funny, man.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's one of those kind of comedies like you either ready, you're like in the mood for that, or you're not. Kind of a comedy, you know. But it's good. I've watched a little bit of that.
Yeah, we dove into that. I think we're up into season 2 right now. It's pretty good, man. I was looking for something that was like real short, right? So those are like 22 minutes.
Right.
You get into some of these others, they're hours.
Right.
So yeah, no good. So what's happening, man? What's been going on?
Man, well, I mean, outside of Labor Day weekend, I will say this. They had the old parade out there on the water, and man, there was a bunch of boats. It was pretty cool, man. It was a good weekend, man. I haven't been out there in a little while since sold the boat, but it's good to get to play in all the fun games.
Get some lake time.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you get to watch the Derby?
I did. You know what? We got back just when we got back. It was like right before it was about to kick off, so I didn't get to really see a whole lot of the pre races and all that. But it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Nobody in the stands.
Yeah, I saw the pictures and I was like, geez, that just wonder how that feels out there trying to be competitive, listening to somebody like Tiger, who builds off of the energy, right. From the fans, right. To get them, to get going, to get things, man, I could see that. I mean, that's just, I don't know.
Yeah. It's gotta be different. Sure. They said the horses even like feed off of that energy. Yeah. So you got to wonder, like the NBA, they pipe it in.
Yeah.
And all the games. Yeah. It's like, you can hear the volume going back and forth just because they're trying to monitor it or whatever. But yeah,
they do that even with the baseball. I've seen, you'll hear, you'll even hear the, some heckling. You'll hear the, popcorn, get your popcorn. You'll hear that stuff too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Well, I hope they allow some football fans as we're getting ready to kick football off.
Man, I'm so ready. Thursday. Come on.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Big time. Get rocking and rolling. What's up, everybody? Man, thank you guys for jumping in. Another little power hour with Mr. Kinder and myself. So we're really here for you guys. Any questions, anything that's on your mind, feel free to throw it in. We'll dive down any rabbit holes that you guys are wanting to go down as it relates to business, as it relates to agent attraction, as it relates to life, whatever you guys want to get into, we can, we're here for you. So throw your questions in the comments and we'll unpack whatever it is that you guys are looking to unpack. So we were chatting about just right before I saw, and I talked to Michael and Karen and Scott Vosberg this morning about you and I think Albie did a live with Miss Veronica and Nick Krim. Talk a little bit about kind of what's on the horizon, what's in the work.
Yeah, a couple of big things. There's a couple of big things. So Veronica is doing an event with Nick Krim. If you haven't seen that, it's probably saved up here at the top of the Honey Badger page. But again, it's an opportunity to invite people to where there's going to be a lot of great knowledge being shared, and people get a lot of value out of that. It's a goodwill thing that helps with recruiting. You get your own affiliate link, so you know who actually took you up on that, and makes for much easier follow up call. All your scripts, emails, if you're going to send emails out, everything that you need in order to do that is given to you. Again, it's no cost. It's just something that Nick Krim's just done a really good job of helping the Honey Badger Nation, as he is one, and making sure that we all get value out of all these events, and they're not just siloed events that nobody really knows about. We want to all promote those and get as many people to open their eyes to, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you could be partnered up with these folks here at EXP? That would be pretty good. If you add a lot of value to people's lives, as we know, that is the that is always the best thing you can do if you want to be successful in anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, so talk a little bit about what that event is about.
So I'm not 100% sure on all the details of that, the specifics of that event. I know that that's kind of Veronica's kind of leading that thing. So I think probably in all the materials you'll get all the access to, like, what are the details, who's speaking, what times they're speaking, all that kind of stuff. But I do know that Glenn Sanford is on that ticket as well. So anytime you have Glenn being a part of something that we're doing, that's a big deal. And so
real big deal.
Yeah, should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, for any of you guys listening in that might, because we're in just another group as well where we're live with you guys. If you're not a part of EXP, there's still some principles based. I can tell you, increasing headcount solves a lot of problems. And no matter what you're doing, you've always got to be looking for talent. And I think that's one of the things that, just always kind of reflecting back, hey, what could we have done a better job of? What could we have done differently? And I really think that's one of the things that I wish we would have took a little more seriously was, always looking for talent, doing a better job to, crack that code of being able to, bring on people at a more consistent pace than what we did. And so one of the key nuggets there that I think you were talking about, Cuz, is that, one of the best things on recruiting talent is always inviting. Right. Always inviting to trainings, always inviting to, events. But before you're even making that invite, you're getting to know what their problems are and what it is that they're trying to accomplish. What are their goals? And then, you as the value added expert, essentially, you've got your kind of in your mind, who's trying to solve what problems. And as you're constantly looking for trainings, events, this right here, right? This right. Conversation that you and I are having, right? I mean, our man Nick Good, posted, I'm sure he's directed a few folks, but if they've got problems, get them into an environment or a room or a training that's going to help them solve their problems. And that dramatically increases the probability that they're going to align with you in some capacity or another, right?
No doubt.
So that's, to me, I just want to emphasize that takeaway, because I think a lot of folks, I think they understand it, but I think they just overlook it.
Right. No doubt. Yeah. It's, it's really, if you just follow the simple process of, being genuinely interested in somebody and what their goals are and where they're headed, and, then connecting that to the invitation to, hey, I know a guy. Hey, I know a couple guys. They could probably help you with that. If they could help you, get there twice as fast, would you be open to, having a conversation, or would you be open to take a look? Today, we started this yesterday, actually, on I would say a quite fuzzy Monday, Labor Day for me, after a long weekend at the lake, being prisoner to Kevin Anderson. It was so it was the first day of every day that I'm going to be doing the Why Partner With Us webinar. And I want to challenge everybody on here. You've been on that webinar, or you have no idea what we're doing. Okay. Because because if you haven't been on that webinar, we used to do it every Thursday at 1:00 Central. Now it's every single weekday at 1:00 Central. Every single day you can be inviting people to something that's that day or the next day or the next day. So, and the reason we're doing this in conjunction with something that I've never seen the company do since we've been here. We've been saying they should do this from the get-go. In fact, we built our own systems around doing it ourselves, doing masterminds and events and getting people together that are focused on agent attraction. We did that because that's what we've always done. And so, and in a different capacity in the past, now, we know that this is the best way to recruit. Inviting people to watch a video, invite someone to a live presentation, or invite someone to a live event. Those are the three best things you can do. And so, to be able to leverage and get people in the room, I can tell you the biggest names that are in this group or in this entire company all came to a big event. Big decisions happen at big events. If you want to, the best people have deep roots. You got to get them to live events. And so, what the company has done is they've announced that, and there's a whole theme behind it, which I love, which is I didn't know anything about pirates, but Dave Canord has one eye it's not real. It's a glass eye. So he had to wear a patch over his eye for like when he was recruiting at Keller Williams, he had to wear a patch over his eye for like most of the people he was meeting with. He looked like a dang pirate. He said, so, he kind of took an affection to pirates and stuff like that. So anyways, the flag, there's a red flag and there's a black flag. I had no idea there was a difference. But like when you're coming after them and they start shooting at you, the pirates will put up the red flag and it's like, that's it. We're coming after you now. You done messed up. We're coming out, full guns ablazing. We're not just going to steal, pillage and plunder. We're going to sink your ships and kill you all too. We're coming after you. That kind of coming after you. And so anyways, that, he was just, using that as some motivation to talk about, agent attraction. We had this last month, the highest number of agents that we've ever added in the company ever. Okay. The second lowest agents removed this year. And that was only because there was 1 month during COVID-19 where everybody was paralyzed and didn't do anything. And then the highest net gain of agent count ever. And that's coming off of the heels of a much more notoriety in terms of the stock and where things are going and the valuation of the company. And we're starting to be seen as the major player in the game, that people are, this is where things are headed. Is EXP is the leader now. And so that is an opportunity. I can tell you from all the years that we've been doing this, that 3 years of people sitting on the fence, they're all starting to come off the fence. The ones that are like, maybe I'd be interested. Now they're like hitting me back up and reaching out to me and saying, hey, yeah, we're ready now. We're ready to talk. Yeah. And so a lot of people that have been in franchise agreements, that have been in long-term agreements, even my own dad of all people, as which the big earn doesn't do a whole lot of changing of anything.
No, he doesn't.
And so for him to be open-minded to it, his agreement is coming up, and he's not wanting to sign another franchise agreement with USAA, not being on the ticket anymore for Cardis. That's a big deal in military markets. So there's a lot of things that are swaying to we're going into recruiting season. So I always think of Elmer Fudd every time I say that, but like when you ask, we wab it, we're coming for you, guns a-blazing. And so, that's, so what they're doing is there's going to be the first 3. So starting from September 1, anybody who recruits 3 people into EXP, just in FLA, because they're obviously not going to be FLQA, but the first 50 to get 3, which by the way, that's 3 is not, it's not difficult to do, but anybody could do it. Right. So like,
sure.
I didn't average more than 3 a month myself over the whole time that I've been here. So 3, between now and October 15th. And if you're in the top 50, you get invited to 3 special masterminds that broke down by region. So we got East, which will be in Orlando. We got Phoenix, which will be the West, and then Dallas is going to be the hub for the Central region. And so, and that event's going to be 2 days, November 4th and 5th. So if you're in, if you know you're in and you want to make sure that you're going to be there, go ahead and mark off the dates and get your flights for Dallas. And you'll get a special notification if you went, and once you've hit 3 or whatever, and if you're one of the top 50 to do that. But the work starts here, and we'll have a lot of the benefits of that happening between now and October 15 if you start the hustle now. But what it'll do is it'll make for a huge end of year in terms of the bringing people over as well. So it's, you're always putting a bug in people's ear, but you're going to be building your pipeline a lot bigger as well moving forward. So this is something cool that I know the power of getting in the room with people that are killing it, and especially specifically people that are making a lot of money in revenue share. And there's so many of them that are doing that. But when we all get into the room together and we start sharing ideas and things that are working, and it's gonna get you excited. And so you maybe you don't have 100 people in your organization, but that's your goal. Focus on getting 3. Get 3 people. Get 3 people to join between now and October 15. You get invited to that special event. There's also going to be the ability to bring a guest. I think up to 25 guests. I'm not sure how they're going to monitor that. What I would say is you just get them there anyway. That's how we usually roll. But yeah, it's going to be great. It's a big deal. And for that, One Big Fire Live is every single day. Nobody has an excuse. Nobody has an excuse that they can't get somebody on a live call. And if you haven't got somebody on that live call, then you're missing out, because it's what works. People that want to grow their business, if they're wanting to grow, and if they're open-minded to maybe this would work, maybe there's a way that something I don't know about. Most people don't know what we're doing at EXP. They haven't seen that video. You know why? Because it's not public. It's not public. The video the presentation that I do on that day every single day that I do, the only people that have seen it is the handful of people that jump on it every time.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, it's only 10 or 12 or 20 people every single time. It's the number one mismanaged opportunity that you have to be able to bring agents to EXP, because the focus isn't just about joining EXP. It's about partnering with people that can actually help them. And when we demonstrate how we can do that, then we show them how partnering with us at EXP, how that may be something they should be interested in maybe doing. Then they're going to be a lot more ready for that next conversation with you and me, or whoever we can get them on a three-way call with. So anyways, I strongly recommend it. I'm going to be talking about this more and more and more, because I feel like what I haven't done well is I haven't talked about it enough, right? I assume everybody knows. Most people probably watching this are going, yeah, I didn't even know that you did one on Thursdays, or I didn't know what that was about, or how it was different than just an EXP explained. So anyhow, I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm going to do the same presentation every single day till October 15th. That's how excited I am. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help you guys. And because I want to see people, I want to see our group. I want to see the Honey Badgers get represented in every region. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be all Honey Badgers. I want them to know that when we came up to the plate, we delivered. So I'm excited about that. And that's coming. That's started already. So every day.
Started yesterday.
Central Time. Yes, started yesterday. And anybody, if you already brought someone in September 1 or whatever between already, then that already counts. So just know that we're going all in here. We're going all in.
I love it. And, for those of you that may, I've seen all the videos, I've seen it. I would challenge you to even jump on yourself, right? It's a great refresher. The thing is that, and we were talking about knowing your problem, right? So like when you guys came on board, you had a different problem you were trying to solve. So you didn't pay attention to everything. So you may be at a different position, obviously where you're at today than when you came on board. So going back and listening there's going to be different little nuggets and pieces of the value proposition that you're like, oh shit, I forgot all about that. Yeah, that's a great point. Right. So like knowing what it is that you want to solve. Like when we were in Tyler last week with Cindy's crew, like I was just listening. I was like, hey, one of the things that you may want to check out is you may want to check out the healthcare benefits. And they're like, oh shit. Right. Like they didn't even register for them. So there's so much value. There's too much to take in one setting. So I would just challenge you guys to get back in there, invite people in there, listen to it yourself. You're going to get more. I get more out of hearing it over and over and over, right? You just little new distinctions, little things that help in your communication and your ability, to listen and say, hey, I might have a solution for you. So I would challenge you guys to get in there, not only, get people in there, but get in there yourself. And, you're going to pick up some nuggets out of there. That's really going to help as well.
Here's how I know when we're gonna be growing the fastest. I know we'll be growing the fastest when I see 100 people on that webinar not every single day, but it should get to that point where if we're not inviting that we're not doing our part, right? Like
it's the number one KPI. People always ask me, hey man, what's working the best with agent attraction? I'm like, they're on Jay's calendar. They're either on the one big fire live or they're doing a three-way call. I can tell you who's consistently adding FLAs every month is I can tell by who has the most people in your calendar. Yep. The ATL crew is always in your calendar.
Yep. Always. Yep.
They're always growing.
And to be fair too, I mean, I'll do calls with anybody anytime. I don't care if they're a brand new agent or if they're not. But brand new agents don't typically need to have they don't necessarily need to have a three-way call. And in a lot of ways, they just need some guidance to know that you're going to be able to help them. But if you're working with somebody that you've been working for a long time and you've said everything you know to say, you got to tee up the three-way call. Like it's the one thing that's the most leverage. And anytime you're selling someone else, you're selling someone else and let them sell EXP. I'm just telling you, it's a whole different conversation. Works every time. I wish I knew what my close rate was because I know it's pretty high. I don't know how.
Real high.
I don't know where it's at, but it's pretty dang high. I feel like, and it may be just because y'all all put quality people on the phone with me. Maybe I'm not that good at this at all, but it feels really good when I get off the call because there was a time last week. I had two. I just got off of one of those calls. I had two. It was either two over the span of a couple of days. I had two really, really good that I know those people would not have joined had they not have been on the call with me. There's no way that they would have just stalled and just not felt like they were ready. And again, anybody can learn how to do these three-way calls eventually, but until you get to that point and you have someone putting people on calls for you, you need to be leveraging the three-way call. It's the number one thing everybody will tell you that's in this company that's done really well is they wish they would have done more three-way calls. In fact, Al stopped doing his own calls and he's putting them on my calendar just because of it. Not because Al can't say everything I can say, because he can. He knows that if he sells me as the one that can help him, and I ask them a lot of questions, which I do. And if they don't have questions themselves, I ask plenty to find out what their goals are, and then I can help guide them down the path of, okay, well, it sounds to me like this would be the perfect opportunity. You need a coach, you need training, you need leads, you need the technology, you need somebody that actually has a financial interest in being a part of it. You're going to be in business for 20 years. Sounds to me like you want to have some stock at the end of that. And like all of that just starts to make sense to people, right? Like, but if it's you trying to sell them on EXP, they're going to resist. But when you sell them on me helping them, and then I actually do that, that's the experience they get, is like, oh, this is how you're going to help me. It's just a different environment. So highly recommend that.
Yeah, that's a great point right there. You don't even have to talk about EXP. You can just talk about all the ways that you're able to solve their problems, right? And the value proposition that you're able to deliver, right? Promise, and the promise you're able to keep, and what you're able to bring to the table to help them solve what it is they're trying to solve. You don't even have to talk about EXP. In fact, we always joke, right? First rule of Fight Club. And so, and we joke about it, but it's true. And, the more that you guys can remember that, and you're going to be excited, but be excited about uncovering their problem and then being able to provide a real solution to help them solve what they want to solve. I want to comment on Taryn's comment real quick. But before that, I would say a great refresher for all of you guys, is to go back through agentattractiontraining.com, get back to the fundamentals, right? Get back, build your list, build your wealth chart, right? Identify who's in your hot list, segment out that list, that database, and who are you reaching out to? Who are you inviting? Mm-hmm. So for sure, if you haven't gone through it, agentattractiontraining.com. If you have gone through it, maybe you need to go back and revisit, right? Yep. Sometimes we need to go back and revisit the fundamentals that we build the foundation on to get to another point. I would also recommend, if you guys haven't, go back through and revisit Building an Empire, right, with Brian Carruthers. The other that is a must, if you really want to get people's attention, is Brian's other book, Untrapped Freedom Manifesto. This book alone right here will, if it doesn't shake them at their core, nothing will. Like, this book should scare the shit out of you. Think about it, right? The beginning, the opening in the beginning and going through it, it's like, because we've helped thousands of agents. I do not know one agent that wants to be 85 years old still showing properties.
Nope.
I just don't, man. They don't, right? And they may say I would do that.
Here's what they always say. 100% of the time, I was like, I could have said it before this lady said it the other day. She's like, I don't see myself ever retiring. I was like, but I can tell you this much. There's a day where if you had 10 million or 20 million or 50 million in the bank, that if you didn't have to go to work and you didn't want to, you would show up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the reality is, we say, yeah, I'm not the kind of person ever going to retire. Yeah, that may be true. I think we're all a little bit crazy that way, entrepreneurs that we are. But at the end of the day, like, it's a different story when you got 175,000 you made passive income this month. You might not go to work tomorrow. I'm just telling you, you may think you would, but you might not. So it's just that's the reality of it. They think that they want, that they don't, that's not important. But if they say that, then they're certainly not going to be able to retire, right? Like, there has to be a plan. And that's,
and you nailed it right there. They just don't have a plan. Right. They don't even know, right? They don't even know what that would be. They don't have a plan. They're not working towards anything. I mean, just imagine, even if you get into the business, you're 40, 50 years old, and say you make a 20-year run, right? In the past, there was never a solution to be able to, take 5% of what you're earning each month and invest like not even paying attention to it, and you wake up 20 years from now, like, I mean, can you imagine what that nest egg would look like with the current infrastructure and the current model?
Right. I can imagine what it would have been like if I'd been here 30 years ago. It'd be great. 23 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been a good deal.
It's unbelievable. So Taryn, man, appreciate you sharing that. And, yeah, man, it's don't act like you've made it, right? It's to talk about the journey of trying to make it. And it's this huge mindset shift.
That's great.
And here's the reality. Here's the best definition of trust. Authenticity times time. So what is authenticity? Authenticity is just being vulnerable, being real. Times time builds trust. You know, it's the most damn transparent time, and it's going to only get more transparent, right? Mm-hmm. I sent you that? Did you get a chance to listen to that old Gary Vee and Nipsey interview?
No, dude, still haven't listened to that.
So I listened. I went down another rabbit hole with him and listening, but he was talking about what changed, gang violence, right? From the traditional gang banging and how they were taught, right? They were taught the old school ways, and their old school ways were pre-technology. And so like what he ends up saying, this is a different interview, but what he was saying, and this is like something that we've all got to be mindful of, is that they couldn't evolve faster than the technology. Technology changed the game, right? You couldn't do the traditional, hey, I got a beef, let's go down and go settle it, because now there's cameras every damn where. You can't blink, you can't move, right? And so they ain't gotta like step in. They'll just come get you after the fact, and you're going down, right? And then so putting different things in, and so you look at that with how it's just a matter of time before everything is exposed. So if you're a phony, and there's a ton of phonies out there, it's just a matter of time before it's exposed. Mm-hmm. And so be real, be authentic, be yourself. I think one of the most powerful things, and this was a huge get for, I don't know. I mean, maybe we were just wired this way, but like, we're not afraid to ask, right? I mean, in some ways, we struggle with asking for help, but I think, in our DNA, we were always seeking to try to find help to solve solutions. And so I think, being vulnerable, it's okay. It's really a sign of power to be able to ask for help and being just genuine and authentic. So, man, that's a huge get, Taryn. I appreciate you sharing that, man.
That's gold.
Yeah. It's just be you, man. Be real. Dude. So I'm 45 minutes in, but Rogan had Tyson back on the podcast.
Oh, did he really?
And this was recorded maybe right around, maybe last week. He dropped it on the 4th. I'm only 45 minutes in. It is a completely different Mike Tyson. Remember the one he said,
yeah,
had 10 months ago, right? Mike's sitting there smoking pot, never want to fight. He said, if I get going again, I'm going to ignite the ego. And Mike Tyson's an amazing human being. He's fascinating. Fascinating. Like, I mean, you're listening to a different guy, but I mean, he's still so self-reflective and
he has more awareness than he definitely used to, but the same guy's still there, right? He's still buried in there.
And he said what happened, because remember he told Joe that he didn't want to work out, right? Because he knew it would ignite it. And he said that it all started because his clothes wasn't fitting right. And so his wife was like, well, why don't you just get 15 minutes on the treadmill? Just walk, right? And he said, yeah, that turned into 2 hours later. Now he's fighting. Now he's fighting.
I love it.
Just crazy. And yeah. Mike Tyson.
I might have to get on that one.
Yeah, that one's a get on too, for sure. for sure. Nick Good. It's because they can't. That's right, Edward. What's up, guys? James Massey. Absolutely, man. Taking advantage of it. Holly posted One Big Fire Live in there for everybody. Times every day, guys. Make sure you guys take advantage of it Monday through Friday. So
I'm going to share this with you, Holly. I'm trying to share the script, the 8-point invitation script. It's actually in the group. You could Google it, but I'm just going to attach it to this just so anybody that wants it can use it. If you haven't gone through that, then you're missing out because it's really good. But yeah, if you haven't gone through it in a while, I'd go through it again because I think, man, here's what I learned. So I was on the phone with so many people over the first year at EXP that, and fortunately or unfortunately for most of you that were here with me, I was practicing on your people. But when you have a lot of conversations, the reason I got really good at listings is because I went on lots of listing appointments.
Right.
And you just, that repetition in a fast order. And so when you're doing, sometimes 6 or 7 calls in a day and the same conversations over and over and over again, you start to play with different language patterns and different things, you start to pick up some little nuances like, oh, that works really, really well. I'm going to keep using that. Or like, I didn't feel that one, so let me try something a little different. And so the 8-point invitation script is really probably this the best overall, the overall collection of how to start a conversation and a simple script to follow to get someone to say yes to watching the video or jumping on the live presentation. Anyways, I wanted to reshare that if you haven't seen it in a while. I'm going to share it with you, Holly, because I don't know if she's shared on this one. It's wide open to the group, and it's shared in here somewhere. I just don't know how to find it. And then Facebook said that I wasn't allowed to share that. So for some reason. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but.
I have a clear call with Wally with y'all's company today at 3. Sweet. One more question for y'all. In regards to structuring time management, how many hours do you and Jay try to discipline yourself for mindset time?
Not enough, probably. That's, I'm not perfect at it. That's for sure. I used to probably be more disciplined than I am today. But yeah, it was part of the Miracle Morning process. That was as far as, the best that I've ever done has been following the Miracle Morning and hitting it right out of the gate and starting with that something positive, hitting your quiet time, your alone time where you're doing a little bit of meditation. And then, getting into journaling and all of that. I never was good at journaling, but that was, when I was really on point, that was, that first hour and a half of the day, with the workout, it maybe closer to 2 hours, but that window right there was the best that I've ever done. I know, John, this is your wheelhouse. You're Mr. Discipline.
And I think it comes back to the consistency more than anything. Even Hal breaks it down in there, right? The principle is it doesn't matter 60 seconds, 5 minutes, an hour, but the biggest thing is that you're consistent with it every day. For me, I got to use tools. I got the Headspace app. So that's kind of been a staple in my, consistency, 10 minutes a day. I've been using it for like 5 years now. And then, I tried to read, Mr. Holiday's, the Daily Stoic every day. I think whenever the book came out, I got it the day it came out, and I've tried to read it every day. Because it's broken down. There's a daily passage. So what was it, 3 or 4 years in with that. And, the other, I think too, is the, just either like this morning on the bike, right. Going for a run. That's usually like one of the best things. And no music, right. No music, no nothing, just run, because that really then, you're focused on the breathing, you're hearing your feet hit the pavement. And so even if I'll do an hour run, I'll try to do 30 minutes of just nothing. Maybe the last 10, 15 minutes, I'll be like, I got to put some damn music on to get through this. But the more you can do that, I really think running with no music is probably one of the best mindset things that you can do, because one, you're focused on your breathing. The next thing you're just triggering ideas, right? Holiday talks about that. Ryan talks about that. He talks about, he'll go for a run, and then as soon as he gets done, he'll come in and just all the thoughts. He'll just write them out. Who else does that? Who else talked about that? Impact Theory. What's the guy's name? He built, man, they got the dang best protein bars.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of what his name is. But he talks about that too. He does the same thing, right? He'll have some form of exercise, no music, no nothing.
Tom Bilyeu.
Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's think-tating is what he calls it, right? It's not meditating. He calls it think-tating. And then he'll just, boom, just sit down and just get everything out of his head. And that's usually where some of the greatest ideas come from. So there's like two states of where like the most creative comes from. It comes from right there. And then it also comes from a slight buzz, right? And Tim Ferriss, I don't know if he's still doing it, but like he was going down that path to where it was Hemingway. Hemingway would get blitzed and just write, and then he wouldn't publish. Obviously he would publish, he would clean it up sober, but he would write while he was tanked. Who else did that? Stephen King. Yep. Like there's half of his novels he don't even remember. Like there's a couple of them he don't even remember writing. Right. Yep.
I remember they talked about that in Tools of Titans.
Yeah, some of his best work was done. He don't even remember writing it. So there's that. There's the creative zones. Let's do the sober one first.
Right.
Best time management book. I'll give two. The first chapter from The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes is a great. What is it? 20 something pages, but
man, that's just one concept in there that just grabs you and kind of gets you.
Unpack that for a second.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of different seasons, right? As you go through different seasons in your life and in your business, and certain things are more relevant at certain times. And the overall book that we like the most, that we always send to our coaching clients back in the day, was The Ultimate Sales Machine, Chet Holmes, because it has a lot of the principles around just the major pieces that you need to have if you're going to actually take your business to the next level that most people needed to have. And so the time management, he talks about pig-headed discipline and having a PhD, pig-headed discipline about your own time. And it's not until you get pig-headed discipline about your own time that you will actually do anything about better utilizing your time. You can't manage, you can only invest it better. And so, taking that time every day and before the end of the day to get clear on the next day and understanding where your priorities and having your list and all of those things that you get from a lot of these different books. And I had to go through all of them. I think I've been through every time management book there is, but my favorite one, just because I like how I like Dan Kennedy. I like just the way he tells stories. He does a really good job. No BS Time Management is by far the number one most colored up book that I own, period. It hit me at a time where I was overwhelmed and everything that was going on in my business and in general in your life. And so, that No BS Time Management helped me to identify a lot of things that I started getting off my plate, and I stopped allowing things to happen that I was allowing to happen. People walking in your office and stealing your time. But it wasn't until, it was a combination of the two, that having the pig-headed discipline to not just when somebody comes knocking on the door or somebody starts to come to interrupt you or come hang out, if I'm in a time block, you ain't coming to get in my time block. It's not personal, but you're going to be staring at the back of my head while I'm doing my work, because I'm not going to answer. And so, that was something I had to overcome. So that book was really good for me. Both of those two books are really good. And then, I think the other one, John, you usually mention, isn't it full of The Powerful Engagement? That not really time management, but just, what's the best type of work to do during, what time? So like I always did all my appointments in the afternoon because I could turn it on no matter what. If I'm with a human being, I could get up for that. But like if I was picking those, it's like eat the frog. What is that? Is that Brian Tracy? No,
Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog. Yeah.
That was a good one for me too, because I would always take that one thing I didn't want to do and push it off a little bit further and into the end of the day. And then it's like, let's do that tomorrow. I not feeling like doing that one. I should have saved that for last, right? So Eat That Frog first. Yeah. That concept was helpful for me as well. And that's a real short, easy book, saying there's a lot of them, but I think the if you have an awareness about how well you're investing your time or you don't. And if you I don't think there's ever an end to that. It's almost like mindset. You want to always be thinking about, how am I investing my time? Am I getting the most out of what I'm doing? Am I working on the things that I'm working on, that the 10% of things that get me 90% of my results, because that's where you get the most leverage is in your own time invested in the right things. And, you can never have too much of that. So it's a great question. Here's a whole bunch of books to go read.
just slide the whole poker
but it's an important question because, like we always say, John, when people ask you, well, what book are you reading? You're like, it's not relevant necessarily because we may not be at the same place, right? What problem do you need to solve most? And that's where, we can recommend a book is you can identify that problem and don't just look for what books people read. Like what's the problem you feel like you need to solve? It's that taking the time to get clear. We talk about clarity, just like, Terrence's going to be on a clarity call. Getting clear is the key to everything. Once you get clear, then you start making the right next step. And if you do that consistently, daily, you're going to get for the same amount of time, you'll be making way more money than you were before.
Yeah. And Terrence, so, and everybody listening in, the power of full engagement is really, and it's not timing, it's energy management. So that's what Jay was talking about, right? So it's like when what happens is that when we get exhausted throughout the day, that the number one form of energy we have is willpower. And so that's why I eat the frog in the morning when the willpower is the greatest, because at the end of the day, after you've been beat up and in battle and dealing with crazy people and clients, that willpower is depleted and you're not going to do the hard things that you don't want to do. So that's where the power of full engagement comes in, and being able to, to perform at your highest level, you've got to be at the highest levels of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and not in religion, but knowing your values and are you living in alignment to who you are. And that's why, why we always talk about the miracle morning and the savers, because if you embody the savers, then and you live those savers on a daily basis, then your energy level is going to be able to be at the highest. And so that's why that all works together. And, but I would definitely recommend the no BS for time management. Like I just flipped it open right here. And this underlined right here, it says, you've got to surround yourself with people who understand and respect the value of your time and behave accordingly. Right. So, not only understanding that, but we also talk about, environment is stronger than willpower. So making sure that you're plugged into the right community, you have the, the right mentors, you're plugged into the right masterminds. And so that's just so key to understand. But the Miracle Morning, Taryn, get the Miracle Morning for real estate agents. You just jump on Amazon, and that's a book that Jay and Michael did with Hal Elrod, and Hal wrote the Miracle Morning. I saw a post with Hal. I guess they did a movie, the Miracle Morning movie.
Yeah,
is getting ready to come out.
Yep,
that's awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that book has gone bananas. It really is a great book.
He was smart, man. He tapped into all of the different industries and co-wrote kind of a story specific for that industry around, his principles. And, it felt like, man, it also felt a little bit like, in that story format, kind of the goal, right? With Eli Goldratt, right?
Right.
He's trying to solve the problem in the manufacturing company, but then also he's trying to solve the problem in his life. There's a lot of good correlations there. What's up, Mr. Gill? Environment is stronger than willpower.
It is.
Yes, sir. They've created a hell of environment. That's for sure.
Yep. Very special. The Alliance. It
is special. And, I love connecting with people inside of the Alliance, and it's just the energy, and you can just, there's a lot of great alignment there. It's really cool to see. Really cool to see.
Hey, can you see the name on who posted below Gil? They say Jake Henry, I sent you an email.
I can't see it.
I can't see it either. I'm looking for it. I don't see it yet. So if you didn't send it to jay@jaykinder.com, that's my email. And the EXP one will come to me too, but jay@jaykinder.com. There's lots of emails out there for me. We did a little bit of marketing in our day. you might have an email that doesn't come back to me.
Pretty good chance.
Yeah.
There's Captain Kevin. What's up, Kev?
Kev Dow.
Your people recharge you. Yes, they do.
Yep.
You know, in a way that
I needed a recharge. I needed a recharge after this weekend. I know that.
Man, oh man.
Good times.
You know what? I'm excited to sit down and start mapping out 21, man. 87 Kevin.
Yep. 87.
Yeah.
87 Kevin is getting his real estate license.
Is he really? That's awesome.
Yeah. That's going to be fun.
Yes, sir. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's like a no-brainer.
Right? Will you not be the best person ever in real estate? Like,
yes. Sent to Holly. So HOLLIE. You can actually send it's HOLLIE at JKinder as well. JAYKinder.com. That's her go-to email.
Yep.
Any questions you guys have? Man, I always look forward to these conversations, hanging out.
Me too. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
You're doubling down on One Big Fire Live every day at 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Make sure you guys have that in your calendar. I would recommend for all of you guys listening in, if you haven't gone through that call or gone through that call in a while, to jump on yourself and then also, really leverage it to get there. I can't stress it enough, man. You guys can't hear it enough. I just, even thinking back through, when we were birthing CHSA, right? It was every day talking about it, going through it. And, to this day, shit, I haven't done that listing presentation with the client since 2014, right before we moved down here. And I have the confidence that we've done it so much that I could go deliver.
Right. No doubt.
Barbara, No BS, Time Management for Entrepreneurs by Dan, the man Kennedy.
Yep. He's got a bunch of books. All his books are great, but that one on time management was really good.
Yep.
All of them they're all great. Like at a certain point in your career, all of his books will become relevant. You know what I'm saying? It's like No BS Time Management, like when that'll be relevant. And his approach is, man, it's so spot on. Like it's the mentors we've had over the years, Dan Kennedy's pretty abrupt and abrasive. And so some of his stuff comes across as a little bit incompassionate, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But then you get mentors later that are running $1 billion company, and Clayt and Mark Chesley and those guys that are they're running a significantly large organization, have a killer culture, great people, but then you hear them say B players are the people you spend time with unless you're family, and it's like, man, you instantly know the people that are holding you back. It's powerful stuff. But yeah, that whole set of books is good. So
good stuff. Taryn, just be genuine, brother. Just be authentic. That's the clarity call, man. The more open and real that you can be, the more you're going to get out of it.
Yep.
All right.
I'm starting to question this whole LASIK thing. Like, I let him do one eye, so I didn't have to wear readers up close. So I have one eye I can see. I could always see up close really well, but I couldn't see far away. So I got one eye I can see really far away. It's amazing. But then when I'm looking at the screen, it's like my eyes are trying to. It's like they're not used to it, I don't guess. But it's like I need to close one eye so I can read. That just looks kind of funny.
What do you get the other one done?
I'm not. That's what they said. They were like, well, you could do it one of two ways. You could just do one. That's what a lot of people do. And then your brain will adjust to like which eye can actually see and focus in on.
Really?
So they said. You
might have to get that patch from Kennard.
Right.
It over.
I'm all on.
Pirate Dave. That's awesome.
Yeah. Wally comes out of the woodwork just to talk shit about my hat. I don't understand it. I didn't wear this hat for you, Wally. I wore this hat for me. He hates it. For some reason he can't. I think it's because he doesn't know what it says.
Oh.
Hello, Wally.
Oh, Walter. You got old man LASIK.
I did, huh? I just didn't want. They were like, well, I said, so you're telling me you got to mess up my up close vision so I can see far away? I didn't know that was the trade off. I thought I was like, y'all going to fix my eyes where I can see both up close and far away. We're just going to give you one. All right, whatever.
At least you can qualify. Holly can't even qualify for LASIK.
Right.
Cool. All right, man. Cuz, let's rock and roll.
Yep,
and we're going to keep adding value. If you guys have any questions, need anything, feel free to reach out. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks, Cuz.
Later.
Later.